volcanic geology of the Dominican Republic is similar to Japan, New Zealand, Indonesia, and Papua New Guinea, all islands that have multiple world-class gold mines.
Most people associate the Dominican with rum, beaches, and cigars. But we're showing with the drilling we're doing at Candelones that we can find large deposits of high grade, close to surface, in underexplored areas.
Unigold Inc. is a client and sponsor of PinnacleDigest.com, whose parent company owns shares and warrants of Unigold Inc. Please read the full disclosure at the end of this video.
When people are reminded of the Dominican Republic, they don't necessarily think of gold mining. For most, particularly those from Toronto, the mining capital of the world, white sand beaches and pina coladas probably come to mind. So it might surprise you to learn that the island nation is home to one of Barrick and Newmont's largest and most profitable production assets. The two gold giants own the project known as Pueblo Viejo through a joint venture. The known mineral wealth at Barrick and Newmont's JV is huge, and it has provided the Dominican government with around $2 billion in total cash distribution. The Dominican is the second largest island in the Caribbean at nearly 49,000 square kilometers, making it comparable in size to Nova Scotia. Also, with the highest peaks in the West Indies, including Pico Duarte, which stands at over 3,000 meters. It is a rugged and relatively underexplored part of the world. The mountainous region formed from intense volcanic and seismic activity that brought rich mineralization systems to the surface. In part because of this, the potential for high-grade gold deposits looms large and has attracted Toronto-based junior Unigold to the region. Trading under the symbol UGD on the TSX Venture and UGDIF on the OTCQX, Unigold's flagship asset is known as the Nieta concessions. With current resources of 2 million ounces of 1.6 grams per ton gold. What's intriguing about the Nieta concessions is the company has controlled it for nearly 2 decades, but the comprehensive NI 43-101 technical report does not include all of the drilling the company has done since late 2015. With a fully funded drill program that began in mid-August, it's time to find out what Unigold is trying to accomplish in the Dominican Republic and what investors can expect in the short to medium term. Mr. Hamilton is a professional geologist with over 30 years of experience in mineral exploration, capital markets, and mine development. He's a chartered financial analyst, a member of the CFA Institute, and a member of the Institute of Corporate Directors. Joe, thanks for having us. Let's start with Nieta. Unigold considers that a district play with numerous mineral occurrences and deposit types. Can you expand on that?
The backbone of the island of the Dominican Republic and Haiti is an island arc. There's numerous volcanoes that stretch over about 200 kilometers. The Nieta concession is almost right in the middle of that. It's about 20 kilometers by 10 kilometers in size. There's numerous showings and numerous deposits that we've already identified in that area. We've concentrated mostly on Candelones, which is an epithermal style of mineralization, but we've also recognized volcanogenic VMS deposits. We've also recognized disseminated mineralization and hot spring mineralization as well. So there's numerous deposit types, and we're focusing on just one of them. But there's over 14 showings within the Nieta concession itself, and we'll get out and look at those. So I firmly believe that there's multiple deposits beyond Candelones.
And why focus on Candelones now?
Well, Candelones was the first piece of consistent, continuous mineralization that we got keyed into in 2010 and 2012. When we did our initial drill program, about 50,000 meters of drilling there. We went back in 2016 and realized there was higher grade mineralization that needed to be followed up in that area. So we've spent our time trying to define that and trying to expand it.
Let's talk about some of the most recent drill results that have just come out from March and where the project is at this point.
We had started a drill program in October last year. We were planning on doing about 20,000 meters. It got shut down in March along with the rest of the world. But the last drill hole out of that program, we managed to complete about 14,000 meters. The last drill hole was probably our best intersection to date. It was 30 meters running about 9 grams of gold per ton, which was a fantastic result. It was also one of our deeper holes. But we just followed that up. We just started a new drill program now that we've got entry back into the country and we're able to get back to the concession. So we just put out a drill release, a press release about a week and a half ago, which was about 9 meters and about half an ounce of gold per ton, about 16 grams. Another fantastic result. Continuous mineralization. We just want to pick up where we left off.
And is it open to depth? And can you talk about that?
We haven't closed it off at all. Generally, these types of epithermal systems, if we look elsewhere in the world, in Mexico or Chile or Japan, generally have 700 to 1,000 meters of vertical extent. We've identified about 300 meters and drilled about 300 meters. So I'm fairly comfortable we'll be able to double the depth extent on it.
What are some of the next steps? Where are you going to go towards an economic assessment? Where's this going next?
Well, We put out a resource estimate in August, which just concentrated on the oxide portion of the deposit. Now, this is superficial deposits of gold that are a result of tropical weathering. Relatively small piece of the bigger mineralization. It's about 100,000 ounces to 120,000 ounces, but it's at surface and it's low-hanging fruit. So we put out that resource estimate, which moved most of that into measured and indicated category. That sets us up for doing a feasibility study. But what we'll be concentrating on from this point forward is the sulfides. After we finish this round of drilling, we'll look at another resource estimate on the deeper sulfides and the higher grade material.
Let's take a step back for a moment. Let's look at just the Dominican Republic. Most people don't associate the Dominican with mining. What's it been like to work there?
No, you're right. Most people associate the Dominican with rum, beaches, and cigars. But in this case, any country that has a Tier 1 asset that the majors define as a Tier 1 asset, which is a 500,000 ounce producer in the lower quartile of cash costs, is an area where people should be doing exploration. Pueblo Viejo in the Dominican Republic has been operating for over 25 years. Most recently with Barrick and Newmont taking over control of it. That is a spectacular mine, long life mine. There's been very little exploration in the Dominican Republic, but that's not because of a lack of targets. It's simply because no one has been there because of the impression that it's not a place where you can find large deposits. I think we're showing with the drilling we're doing at Candelones that we can find large deposits of high grade, close to surface, in underexplored areas.
And how has Pueblo Viejo, do you think, impacted the government and how they treat you as a Canadian mining company?
Well, there's no question that Pueblo Viejo contributes to the tax revenue of the country. I think the government realizes that mining can be a cornerstone for the country, but they need to find more deposits and allow them to be developed.
Speaking now about development, how do you guys move through that process in the Dominican? What are some of the next steps, and what does that framework look like?
Mining permits in the Dominican Republic are granted once a feasibility level of engineering is complete and once an economic study is delivered to the government. Then they will look at an application for a mining license. Once a mining license is granted, it gives 75 years of tenure in order for a company to be able to develop the deposits that are within the mining lease.
And is your workforce primarily Dominican?
Our workforce, 98% of our employees are Dominican. They live in the local area around Candelones and around the town of Restauración. And we do that by choice. These are people some people have been with us for over 15 years. We've trained them and we've transferred skills to them and we've brought them up, and they are equally capable to any Canadians or any foreigners that we would send into the country.
NIETA has resource estimates, but is it fair to say that they don't paint the full picture? I know you guys have done some drilling and some of it's been included, but a lot of it hasn't. Can you explain that?
The resource estimate that we put out in 2015 covered a lot of the sulfides, but it did not include any of the high-grade hits. The drilling that we did between 2016 and 2020, it's over 30,000 meters of drilling, is not included in the resource estimates for the higher-grade sulfides. We intend to finish this round of drilling, and then we'll update those estimates probably early next year.
You guys own 100% of the NIETA concessions?
Yeah, that's right. We have a 100% interest in the exploration concessions. As I said, the exploration concessions are good for 5 years. They need to be renewed every 5 years. That's one of the reasons why we want to convert it into a mining concession. The mining concessions are good for 75 years. And they give good tenure for a company to operate in a local area. So I think that's important. We intend to use the oxide portion of the deposit to define that project and then move that forward. I think we'll see quite a few changes in 2021. We hope to have the application in for the mining license. We hope to put out a new resource estimate on the sulfide portion. And if it looks as if it's large enough at that point, we'll move directly to a PEA on the sulfide portion. In addition to that, we should get final metallurgy done on all of the mineralization that's there. And we're looking at doing scoping studies and PEAs on the underground portion of the sulfides as well.
And what's the cash position right now for the company? Where's the treasury at?
At the end of Q3 in 2020, we were at about $6 million in cash. The current drill program of about, it'll be about 15,000 to 20,000 meters, should consume about $2 to $2.5 million of that. Some of the engineering studies we have will probably consume another $500,000.
As we look forward into 2021, what message do you want to leave investors with? What are some inflection points the company's hoping to hit? We talked about the mining permit. What do you want investors to focus on moving forward?
What we'd like to do with Unigold is we'd like to develop the Candelones deposit as a first mining area. There's plenty of other mineralization that we haven't followed up, and I truly believe that the NIETA concession is part of a larger district. I think we'll find more deposits elsewhere on that concession, as well as a long strike from the concession. What we would like to do then in 2021 is define the Candelones project so we can move on from that and move back to what we do very well, which is exploration. Numerous other targets, some of which have better geophysical and geochemical signatures than Candelones, that haven't been drilled, some that have short scout drill holes in them. I'd like to move out and do that again, because that's what I find truly exciting, and I think that's what truly adds value for shareholders, is not the delineation of a deposit, but the discovery of a new deposit. And that's what we'd like to do post-2021.
Joe, thanks for having us. It's been a pleasure.
My pleasure.
The volcanic geology of the Dominican Republic is similar to Japan, New Zealand, Indonesia, and Papua New Guinea, all islands that have multiple world-class gold mines. Despite this, the island nation has seen relatively little modern exploration during the last 3 commodity cycles, and it remains underexplored even today. With drills turning and multiple highly prospective drill-ready targets, Unigold hopes to make new high-grade discoveries and expand its current resources at Nieta in a bid to further advance this unique gold exploration project. Like this video and subscribe to never miss another adventure.